last time we talked about Jesus' compassion, the caring he had, the way he fed the 4,000, the 5,000 plus. He took care of the people. His popularity is rising. People go out to remote places to see him. This doesn't go unnoticed by the religious leaders. And though they've kind of questioned him before, as we turn to what we call chapter 16 of Matthew, they start testing him. Are you really God? If you are, give us a sign. Well, I love Jesus' response here. It's weather. Our modern interpretation would be red sky at night, sailors delight. Red sky in morn, sailors take warm. Now there is science behind that. And I won't go into it here, but I'll gladly talk to you about it if you come see me. But they question him. And this questioning then turns into discussion about the kingdom and about who Jesus really is. Well, in Matthew chapter 16, we see a discussion with the disciples here, mainly Peter. And I want to read starting in verse 13. I'm going to read down to verse 20. It said, when Jesus came to the region of Caesarea Philippi, he asked the disciples, who do people say the Son of Man is? They replied, some say John the Baptist, others Elijah, and still others Jeremiah or one of the prophets. But what about you, he asked. Who do you say I am? Simon Peter answered, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon, son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by man, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. I'll give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he warned his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Christ. I'm the Christ, I'm the Messiah. But then Jesus goes on and he talks about that, well, I'm going to die. That leads to Peter's discussion with him, and I love this. Peter doesn't rebuke him in front of everyone, but kind of calls him aside and says, no, you're the Messiah. You're not going to die. And the famous line, get behind me, Satan, comes out of that. See, a new way of thinking was coming. This has been popping up the whole time we've been looking at Matthew. It started with the Sermon on the Mount, with what Jesus was teaching him there. And we're going to talk more about this new way of thinking next week. But right now, they see that Jesus has the power, the greatness of Jesus. We see that he is going to reform what we're going to be and who we're going to be. But this is going to be difficult. So he reassures the apostles at this point with what we call the transfiguration. And there they see Elijah and Moses. And I don't know if they pulled up a picture on their phone. I don't know if they had a Polaroid, but somehow they knew this was Elijah and Moses. But they are reassured because reality is starting to hit. Jesus is going to die. See, that did not compute. That did not fit with their thinking. God had already assured them that he was the Messiah, and he needed to. Because when reality hits, it's hard. When reality hits us, it's hard. And God reassures us with who he is, what his plan is, that he is in control. Through maybe it's prayers. You pray and you get the reassurance from that. Maybe it is through reading his word. Maybe it's talking to someone else. Or maybe it's through nature. I've seen a bird and just watch them and what they do. And it's like, that is what God created in them. Maybe it's in a rainbow or a sunset. Think back to the rainbow a second. What was that? That was to reassure us that God would never flood the earth again. He is God. His kingdom is coming. But it may not be what we expect. It may be a little different. And we're going to see that next time. But it is coming. It could take a twist. Disciples are going to have to deal with some things. But for now, just focus on the kingdom. The grand and glorious day when we get to see its fullness when we're with our Heavenly Father. For now, stay safe.